Hello everyone, welcome to today's session where we are going to discuss about the term essay. In literature, we can recognize two broad categories in prose writing. First one is fictional prose and the second one is non-fictional prose. And our today's topic of discussion is non-fictional prose, which is essay. If we see its origin, then this term essay is derived from the word essayer, which means to try or to attempt. And it was this 16th century French writer Michel de Montaigne who described or called his attempts of putting his thoughts on paper as essays. When he was writing or trying to write his thoughts on paper, then he called that practice or that attempt as essays. And thus, in this way, we can say that the origin is attributed to Montaigne, the French writer. But it was Francis Bacon who is known as father of English essay, because it was Bacon who introduced this form of composition into English literature. We can say Bacon borrowed this form of writing from Montaigne. One thing is to be noted here, that Bacon and Montaigne shared the form of essay but not the spirit, which means that there is a great difference in their way of dealing with this type of writing, this type of prose writing. When we read Montaigne's essays, then we find very personal and familiar tone in this, whereas Bacon's essays are very informal and very logical in its treatment. So we can say that this is a shift, a transition from personal or subjective from Montaigne to Bacon, which is very impersonal or objective. Now let's have a quick look on the variety of definitions of this single term essay. Everybody has dealt this term in his or her own way, so we have many definitions of this term. To begin with Bacon describes essay as brief notes put down rather significantly than anxiously. This is one statement given by him. And the second, he also called his essays as dispersed meditations. Now there is a slight contradiction here, you will find. In the first statement, he is saying that essays are notes put down significantly, not anxiously. But in the very next, he is saying they are dispersed. How can significant and dispersed? If there is no anxiety, then how can those meditations are very dispersed, very random, or very not very coherent? So it is in this way. When we read Bacon's essays are very good examples of this definition itself. Like when we read Bacon's essay, then every sentence of his essays is very complete sentence in itself. When we read the essay, then every sentence we find full of wisdom, and we will not find anywhere that he is deviating from his subject matter. He is very much stick to his subject matter. But what we find when we read the whole essay, that there is no link between the sentences. Every sentence is complete in itself. So it is dispersed meditations. They are meditations, but they are dispersed. It is not a well-knit compositions. His essays are not well-knit compositions, or will miss that structure, a complete structure, that one sentence is flowing from another. That component element we miss in his essays. That's why he gives this such definition to the essay. So this, in the very starting, I have given a good time to this in elaborating the definition, so that you can get this sense that every essayist is dealing or defining this term in his or her own way. As he is dealing, as he is treating, the definition becomes in that manner. Now let's have a look on the definition given by Dr. Johnson. He says, essay is an undigested piece, not a regular and orderly composition. Here again he is pointing out the coherence, the coherent thought of in the essay. Next one is by Aldous Huxley. He defines essay as a literary device for saying almost everything about almost anything. So after this definition we can sense the range, the variety, that how much this one term uh, consist, or this term can take, the inclusivity, that how much variety it can take, that almost everything can be said about almost anything. And if we see the definition given by the Oxford dictionary, it describes it as a short piece of writing on a particular subject. So on the whole we can say that the word essay has been used at one time or another for almost anything that is not fiction or poetry or drama. And the essayist makes an attempt towards an elucidation of the subject, and always from his own individual point of view. So as per the dealing and treatment, it has variety of types which we are going to discuss in our further discussion. I hope that you have got that how broad this term is. This is a list of some of the famous essayists. You can note it down. Now let's have a brief discussion about the types of essays. First one is aphoristic essay, and Bacon is the chief exponent of this particular type of essay. At first I would like to clear that here the word aphoristic is related to aphorism. Aphorism is a short and concise statement about any principle or truth. In other words, we can say that aphorism is saying about something in by using as few words as possible. And Bacon was having a mastery over this art of saying maximum in minimum words, and that's why he is also called the chief exponent of this specific category. And when we read his essays, we get at once the compact and epigrammatic style strikes us, the how he is condensing the very heavy thoughts or profound and insightful utterances in one single sentence. For instance, if we see his this statement excuse me, if we see this statement, revenge is a kind of wild justice. It is from his essay of revenge. Again I'm reading. Revenge is a kind of wild justice. Second one, man fear death as children fear to go in the dark of fear. So after reading such pearls of wisdom from his essays, even a very single sentence, we can say how profound and insightful it is. So after reading such pearls of wisdom, a reader finds himself wiser and enlightened. So such is the flair of distinctive style of aphoristic essay. Next one is character essay, and they came in vogue in early 17th century when this form of essay, the form of essay, took the form of character sketches in the hands of Hall, Overbury and Earle. These were the writers who made it popular or famous. Character essay is particularly devoted or dedicated to a particular character, in which essayist tries to delineate a particular character, which involves his way of speaking, his relationship to other characters, his way of dealing with others, how the way he or she looks, etc. So these all things consist in the whole character analysis or character depiction and delineation, and such essay is called character essay. Next one is third is critical essay. If you see its definition or statement is on the screen, I'm reading it for you. A critical essay intends to convey specific meanings of a literary text to specific audiences. Now, after reading this, we can think that this critical essay is written for the specific purpose of interpreting or evaluating a particular literary piece, which means that in this type of essay the writer is going to highlight the merits and demerits of the literary text, and also trying to give the shades of different shades of meaning to any text. In simple words, we can say that a critical essay is written, or it revolves around the motives, themes, literary terms, or structure of a particular literary piece, in which a critic come essayist discusses about such things in the way he analyze that literary text. Specific audience here suggests that such essays, critical essays, are written specifically for the audience which who are academically more mature and who can understand the points raised by the critical essayist, the essayist who writes critical essay. And some of the famous essayists in this genre are Dryden, Samuel Johnson, Matthew Arnold, and many others. You can find it out. And one of the critical essay, like on the knocking at the gate in Macbeth, it is by Thomas De Quincey, in which he discusses about the characters like Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, and other aspects of this drama by William Shakespeare. So such is the description or type of critical essay. Next is periodical essay. Periodical essays also came in much trend in the first half of the 18th century, when the journalism was in the rise. With the rise of journalism, this type of essays came in vogue, and periodical essay, as the name suggests, that the essays began to appear in periodicals, in newspapers and magazines as per their time period, weekly, bi-weekly. And in the beginning, it was Richard Steele who published this periodical Tatler, who published his essays in this periodical Tatler. And after the 2 years when it ceased the publication, Addison and Steele, both in their joint venture, they started the Spectator, and it also became very famous. And it was these periodicals in which essays were published were very much liked and welcomed by the readers of that time, as the main intention of writing such periodicals was social reform, actually. Because as in these essays, writers were exposing the artificial mannerisms of the society and also showing the way to simple and natural behavior. So such was the intention. And these both the figures, Steele and Addison, due to their extraordinary efforts and contribution, they are called pioneers of these periodical essays. Next one is Samuel Johnson, who also published in periodicals his exceptional critical essays. His literary criticism he published in these periodicals, Rambler and the Idler. And the next one is Oliver Goldsmith's collection of essays, The Citizen of the World, which were published in the daily newspaper Public Ledger. So these are the examples which I have written here. These are the examples of. And the fifth one is personal essay. As the very name suggests, that in this essay personal element predominates. That means we can sense that there will be not any logical or formal development of the writing, whereas we can find very informal or chatty tone in this. There is a statement, I am reading it for you: a delightful blend of autobiography, erudition, fancy, humor, and sentiment. So such are the flavors of personal essay. There is a collection of essays of Ilya. It is by Charles Lamb, and it is a classic example of this genre, personal essay. And due to his remarkable handling of this personal essay in his self-revelatory stories, He is also called Prince of Personal Essays. Along with Charles Lamb, there are many other personal essayists like Leigh Hunt, Hazlitt, Thackeray, and De Quincey. This is a list of some other types of essays, as we have discussed, and you have also got the sense that this term essay is very so flexible and so inclusive that it takes the form as the writer deals with it. So these are some of the types, and there can be many more, and I encourage you to find about them and also read about them. That's all for today, and I look forward to see you in the next lecture. Thank you for your attention.